Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Butterfly Effect podcast. Today, me and Liam are going to be talking about whether Josh Washington deserved a better ending. Now, of course, as many of you are aware on this channel who've played Until Dawn, Josh, he either dies or he dies again, essentially, doesn't he? Because he ultimately becomes a Wendigo, arguably a fate worse than death. So, mate, I'll throw the mic over to you. Where do you sit on this particular topic?
Okay, so, maybe a bit of an interesting one. I might anger people here, but I'm like, would I have liked another ending? Yes. Because if we just look at, say, the DPA games, for example, there's so many that, I like content. Who wouldn't want another secret ending in Until Dawn? That would be epic. Do I think he should have had one? You know what? I'm going to randomly say no. I think I like the fact that all of the characters can either live or die. I know, loads of optimist, happy gamers out there would love an absolute true ending where everyone could have survived and Josh could have been, outside the exploding lodge and we could have saved him. But I'm just going to, put my foot on that, actually, and be a bit you know what? No. Not that he didn't deserve it, but I think it's beautiful writing when some things just aren't meant to be, I think it kind of speaks volumes of how Josh automatically gets a dark ending and his fate is sealed regardless. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's the answer you expected, mate, but yeah, I don't know. I just think some things shouldn't be tampered with.
It's not the answer I expected. I mean, to be honest, I'm going to say, did he deserve a better ending in the sense that I think that he should have got off scot-free with all of the others? No, I don't. But I would probably say that maybe some sort of compromise needed to be, I say needed is a strong word, could have been put in there. Maybe he got arrested, or maybe he got put into some sort of home or institution, because obviously we know about his mental health background. We know that Dr. Hill was talking to him, saying, you've got to be taking your meds and stuff. Especially because Until Dawn ends with police tapes. So let's just take it that he was arrested. You could have had one with Josh, and I feel like that could have been incredibly interesting. Is he at that point talking to us as Josh, or has he still got some remnants of the psycho going on? I feel like that could have been a really nice touch to end the game. I mean, what do you think on that, mate? Have I swayed you at all, or are you still nah, it should have stayed as it is?
Yeah, you know what? Because I like your idea, because I'm very much against this idea of just, we always have to have an ultimate happy ending. I quite like the writing of Until Dawn, that he follows a similar fate to Hannah, potentially. I quite like the fact that his wrongdoings have kind of led him down this path, and he can't be saved. So yeah, a nice compromise, maybe he ends up in a straitjacket at the end of the game. Something a little dark, but with a bit more justice than him just straight up dying. Yeah, that could be a really good compromise, because one thing I do think about Josh, and this is more about an analysis of the actual details of the game, is that I don't know I'm a biggest fan of how to save or, kill Josh is based off of a clue you might find towards the end of the game, that one little choice. I think, if the game was a little bit more fleshed out and you could do different things, maybe his relationships with different people could affect his ending, and then you could have one like that. Yeah, that is probably a really fair compromise, mate.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, it probably is at the point with Mike and Sam down in, the caves, isn't it? I'm trying to think, what could be tinkered with there, because I imagine it would literally just be Josh getting back up to the surface with Mike. Maybe Josh automatically survives the whole lodge explosion thing. I don't know if you've got any ideas how we could make it work, but I think ultimately, yeah, it would just be so good if he could make it to the top. Because when you think about his character, he has, I mean, we talk about the whole meds thing, and it does have some levity to it, of course it does. But we do know that this was a premeditated plan. But then again, on the flip side of that, you can say that it's somewhat, it's just maybe a strong word, because let's face it, he does actually assault his friends, sticks a syringe in Sam's neck, all these other things, films them without consent. There are things there that you can say, right, okay, you've taken it too far. They didn't mean to kill your sisters. Like, they didn't forcibly push them off the edge of a cliff. But there's got to be a part of you that sort of maybe understands where he's coming from, where he's lost his two sisters as a result of this prank. So he could be resentful. So there are things there that, you know, you can say pro Josh. You can say that are things that are con Josh, and I think that's where I think this compromise ultimately sets in, mate. But yeah, like, just to come back to what I was saying before, like, how would you restructure it, I guess, the ending, in order for Josh to get to that point where he's getting arrested?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and I'm actually going to interject with another potential ending. I quite like the idea of him getting, like, a dark ending but a redeeming one, so it's a nice compromise there, where maybe if you could get him to the lodge, he pushes everyone else out and sacrifices himself, so he burns in the building, because that would be a good way of him realizing what he's done to his friends, so the ones he does manage to keep, you know, alive at the lodge, he can save, but at the expense of his life, and he can take him and Hannah. So it's like a nice sort of like Washington death where him and Hannah die together. That could be like a nice sort of beautiful ending, maybe. I don't know, like, some people might really hate that, but it would be cool to have as a potential ending. I don't know what you make of that one.
I like that, because the thing is, you know how, I know this is a completely different character, but you know how people really like Mike, for example, and at the start of the game, Mike is a bit of a jerk, you know, typical jock that, you know, he thinks highly of himself, clearly got a thing for the ladies, this and that, but he goes on an arc and he ultimately finishes as like an action hero of some kind, so therefore people remember him in a more positive light because he's gone on that journey. I wonder with Josh, like with your idea, where if he does do that, if you did get the ending where he ultimately, you know, saves the whole group, whether, you know, people would look on Josh more kindly, or whether they would still have the whole psycho thing in the back of our mind. So let us know what you think in the comments, guys, on that particular subject.
Yeah, of course. So, like, to be honest, like, one thing that, to answer your question about how I could have made, how you can rewrite this game to get a potential ending where maybe he gets arrested at the end, because maybe you could have him go the whole way, but then there's a dark ending where maybe you get the positive one people want, where he's with the group and he's sound, or you could get a dark one where he goes to the end but he gets arrested. Either or. It might be whether, like, the best way to probably tackle that would be to play more with the relationship dynamics between the characters. We always have, like you see in the pause menu, these relationship bars. So it might be if he mistreats Sam to a certain extent. It might just be, like, obviously, yeah, like if he terrorizes Sam enough that Sam can dob him into the police. It could be that, like, if anyone still thinks he's responsible for the night, if you have bad relationship traits, maybe Chris really hates what he put him through. Maybe Chris can dob him in. So maybe, yeah, you could have incorporated the relationship bars and dynamics into the game a lot more, and then that could have varied, like a 50-50 split as to whether Josh at the end of the game gets a good or a bad ending. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I like it. It certainly seems to be the one that makes the most sense, because I still feel like that a lot of the things could, even Mike, because you think when Mike's the one who has ultimately gone down, Sam's climbing the rock somehow to escape. Maybe it could be his relationship with Mike. Maybe it's certain dialogues, you know, when he's got him chained up outside in that sort of like little shack thing. Maybe them dialogue choices or something comes into play, like whether Mike goes to hit him or not with the gun, or it could be something like that that ultimately like kicks the can as to, you know, for a butterfly effect as to whether, you know, he's ultimately going to save Josh in that moment. Sweet. So yeah, guys, do let us know what you think in the comments. Maybe there's someone out there that wants Josh to have a happy ending. If so, let us know. It sounds really wrong, doesn't it? Oh, it was going so well and then I just fluffed it. Maybe there's someone out there that wants Josh to have a better ending, And you know, it could be that he just stays alive and walks off into the sunset with the others. Maybe there's someone that wants him to have that sort of ending, but for it to be incredibly rare. So do let us know in the comments what you think. We'll look forward to replying to them, and we'll see you next time.
See you soon, guys. Take care.